Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for your overview of the Batman Beyond the Animated Series Classics Compendium. So, join me. And welcome back, everybody. So what we're looking at here today is the Batman Beyond the Animated Series, the Classics Compendium. It is the 25th anniversary. So let's take a closer look at the cover here. You have the DC logo, Batman Beyond, the Animated Series Classics Compendium, 25th anniversary, Hilary J. Bader, Craig Russo, Hilary J. Bader, Craig Russo, and Rick Burchett. And then, of course, there's Terry and Bruce and the outfit right there. Batman Beyond, the Animated Series Classics Compendium, 25th anniversary, and the DC logo. I love the Bats logo up there. And then the back of the book, Welcome to the Gotham of Tomorrow. And the book retailing for $59.99. Now, this is a compendium. And in case you're new to the channel or new to these type of collected editions, this is the size of a trade paperback. And the trade paperbacks are, of course, the trim size of a single issue. And I know a lot of people were surprised when we got the announcement of the Batman Beyond compendium that it was a compendium instead of an omnibus, because we're also getting the Batman New Adventures omnibus. But maybe one day. But yes, it is a little bit smaller than, of course, your omnibus edition. And I'll just go ahead and say it. It's glued binding, like so. And the paper stock is this almost like a satin finish, so semi-gloss type of paper stock they've been using on compendiums. So what I'm going to be doing is opening the book up, showcasing the artwork, talking about the stories collected in here, and well, I just looked at the build of the book, so I don't have to do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that together. Alright, let's go ahead and get this open. You have the Batman Beyond the Animated Series Classics Compendium 25th Anniversary title page right here with the Batman logo. This wonderful image. And here are your credits for the writers, the pencilers, the inkers, the colorists, the letterers, and the collection cover artist, which is, of course, Bruce Timm. And probably the most recognizable names here, if you're coming from the world of the animated series, the show, are Hilary J. Bader and Rich Fogel, since they worked on the show. As a matter of fact, Hilary wrote some of my favorite episodes in Batman Beyond. But they're also joined by Jason Hernandez, Rosenblatt, and Paul D. Story, and Jordan B. Gorfinkel. Now you have Craig Russo, and Rick Burchett drawing the main stories in here, but they're also joined by Joe Staten and Min SQ and Alur Mango. And then you have all your inkers here, your colorists, and your letterers. Your table of contents letting you know where you're going to find each of these issues. But more importantly, at least to me, is they give credit to the cover artist. Lots of Bruce Timm stuff in here. You're going to see some stuff in here by the legendary Darwin Cook. But also when these stories originally came out. So you have the first 6-issue miniseries, and then you have the ongoing series and the dates that they came out. So the main series ended, the 6-issue miniseries ended in August of 1999. Then they took a couple months and brought it back in November of 1999. But your table of contents right there, and based on the hit animated series, which is a really interesting choice of words. Love this image here by Bruce Timm. So collected in here is Batman Beyond Volume 1, 1 through 6, Batman Beyond Volume 2, 1 through 24, which came out in the same year, 1999. And that's all that they did from that particular series, with one exception. And then Superman Adventures 64. The book retails for $59.99, and it has 750 pages. The one exception is the Return of the Joker movie adaptation. And it's a movie adaptation, I kind of see why maybe they didn't fit it into this already big book for 750 pages. But they did give us Mask of the Phantasm in the Batman Adventures omnibus. So maybe if they ever re-release this as an omnibus, we'll get the Return of the Joker, which is a phenomenal story, by the way. So, what is going on through here? It is all taking place in the year 2039, which is crazy because the back of the book says it's been decades since anyone last spotted Batman. And now you can't really say that. Now you can only say it's been a decade because we're in 2024. This is nuts. But the first two issues that are collected in here from the original miniseries are kind of a adaptation of the Rebirth episode, the first episode of Batman Beyond. And I say kind of because things work out differently. One of the characters ends up dying a little bit differently. We do have this flashback right here that we didn't see where Batman first gets the idea, maybe I should use more tech in my costume. And eventually dons, of course, the Beyond costume. You get the heartbreaking moment right here when he realizes he's not up to doing this anymore. This is when he picks up the gun. And you don't need to know anything about the Batman comics, like 100% everything, or the Batman show to know that this is something he swore never to do. And that kind of makes him quit being Batman. So Bruce Wayne retires the costume. And then we get 20 years after that, the introduction of a new character named Terry McGinnis. So the first two issues, like I said, introduces us to this character. Now, I'm not going to compare the two, like Batman Beyond. The animated series is one of my favorite animated series. In this book, mainly because it's different besides the first two issues. I'm going to explain exactly what is collected in here, what type of stories. But the one thing I will say is that if you get anything out of this, this works more like a companion than a continuation to the Batman Beyond series. Because this was coming out, the miniseries came out when season 1 was going on. And then the second series, the second volume, 1 through 24, was coming out when seasons 2, I think season 2 was about to wrap up, and then we were getting season 3. So to me, it always has worked as a companion. And since we have two of the writers, including Hilary J. Bader, to me, this is always canon. And unlike the Batman Adventures adaptations, I feel like you get more out of this book by watching the animated show. With Batman Adventures, you don't really need to have watched it, but you'll want to, of course, because the characters have already been established. If you're coming from the world of comics and you're reading that, you already know who the Scarecrow is. You already know Joker and Catwoman and Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. But in here, you're meeting a brand new cast of villains, and you're meeting a brand new cast of characters, with the exception of just Bruce Wayne and a couple of little extra supporting cast members from the original Batman run. So that's where I'll leave it, and I hope if you get anything out of the video is you do take this as a companion. So the first two issues, as I mentioned, introduces us to Terry McGinnis and his supporting cast, his mom, his brother, his younger brother Matt, his girlfriend Dana. And what happens is that his father is working for this corporation that used to be owned by Bruce Wayne. And now in this Neo Gotham City, as it likes to be called, it is owned by another rich billionaire. And that gentleman's name is Richard Powers. Now, let's go back to the beginning. So at the very beginning, what ends up happening here is that Terry is being chased down by a bunch of Jokers, because this is what they're called in the future, the Jokers gang. He runs away, and kind of like in a Karate Kid, the first movie, by the way, the real Karate Kid with Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio, sorry, not the editor of Marvel Comics. But anyway, he gets cornered by these Jokers, and this old guy comes out and just helps him beat the crap out of them. Takes him inside the mansion and tells him to leave. The old guy passes out, and he explores the mansion by himself, and it turns out, oh my gosh, this guy was Batman. This is crazy. He gets knocked out, he wakes up, and he comes home. Now, when he comes home, his mother has some bad news. Apparently there was a burglary, and they killed his father. So now his father is gone, and he's left with his mother and his younger brother, but his father left a disc. Because, I mean, keep in mind, this is late 90s. Even in the late 90s, it wasn't a floppy disk, but it was a CD. where all the information is stored in case of his ultimate demise. And that's when he takes it over to Bruce and he finds out that his father was finding things out about his boss, the owner of this company, Powers. And Powers had him killed. So Mr. Fix shows up here and he actually, well, never mind. It works out a little bit different here. So he confronts Powers and dons the costume. Batman, Bruce Wayne, does not like that this kid stole this costume. And he communicates with him. He's able to shut it down. And he's like, "You're going to get me killed, man. I need this costume." And he's like, "All right, fine. Go for it. But I don't appreciate thieves." And the two of them kind of work together to take down Powers and his goons and to kind of avenge the death of his father. And Bruce Wayne ends up hiring him without telling his mom that he's going to be the new Batman. And he ends up donning the costume of Batman. He fights this character right here. This is Blight with his own little secrets. And the way that they work is really interesting because it feels like a Batman and Robin type of team up where Batman is the mentor and Terry is the he's kind of like the Robin role, but he is the Batman. But it's like a mix of that and Oracle of Bruce Wayne realizing that he's older and just working behind the scenes. So through here, you're going to meet his supporting cast. We've already mentioned his girlfriend Dana and his best friend Max. And I think everybody that watched the show probably wanted him and Max to get together. Max did have a nice haircut. We're going to see in the comic book adaptations, or rather the comic book, because like I said, it's just the first two issues, are the adaptations of the first episode of the TV show, whereas everything else here is new and almost feels like a companion to the show that takes place in the same universe. Jason Blood shows up here, so we do get to see the demon Etrigan. We have some mummies showing up that all they want is love. But what does it have to do with one of the students that is at his school? We have the character of Ink showing up. Now, these characters like Ink, and another one that shows up here soon, Blight and Shriek, they all come from the TV show. So by the time you're reading about them here in the comic book, you're not going to get origin stories. You're going to get kind of like a continuation of their stories. And some of the characters that were supposed to be dead, or at least they seem dead in the animated show, do pop up through here. And I'll just let you find out in case you're a fan of the show. And then they got their own ongoing series with a brand new issue, Batman versus Batman. Hilary J. Bader still writing the stories in here. Bruce Wayne trying to defeat his protege because his protege's gone rogue. What is happening exactly? And eventually you'll see a bunch of other villains show up through here. Some very unique to the world of Batman Beyond. Others probably a take on a character from the previous Batman animated series. This is one of the most interesting characters, or at least I liked her. I think fans were divided on this character, but this is Melanie. This is 10. Ooh, she is at 10, baby. But she belongs to the Royal Flush Gang. And she kind of, I want to say, I hate to compare it to the original Batman series, but you can't help it. She's kind of his Catwoman. She's a bad girl, but she's not all so bad. You know, she's part of the family that's a bunch of thieves and breaking into banks and stuff, but she wants to do the right thing. And she kind of works with Terry, and she'll be showing back up here, kind of like in the animated show. This is the character of Shriek. He fights a bunch of mutated animals through here. The Jokers make a return from time to time. You get to see the relationship between him and Max and Dana just grow and grow. Actually, Max is kind of like his Oracle, if I'm going to compare it to the original Batman series. But one of my favorite issues that appears through here is the one with Commissioner Gordon. Now, Commissioner Gordon in this era is a lot different than our Commissioner Gordon, of course. But Batman and Commissioner Gordon are still at odds with each other, but working with each other. This issue is brilliant. What is it called? The Over the Edge was the animated show. Etrigan shows up again, but seriously, if you were a fan of the show, at least read that issue. But there's a lot of good in here. A lot of this artwork, very animated style, like the way the show was. Not as detailed as the Bruce Timm stuff or some of the stuff as you're going to find in the Batman Adventures Omnibus. As a matter of fact, the backgrounds sometimes are bland and left plain like that, leaving it to the colorist to fill it in a way. So you will notice things like that through here. And eventually the series got canceled. So this goes all the way to issue number 24. And then we get the team up with. Oh, actually, no, I have to mention one more story in here. And that is. What is this guy's name? Blacklight or Darklight? It's the Justice Lords. They show up through here. And if you've been watching the Justice League Unlimited series, you are familiar with some of these characters like Warhawk and the new Green Lantern. But they show up through here. And it's interesting because later on he shows up in an episode of a Batman, or I'm sorry, Justice League Unlimited series. And then we get the back here, which is the team up with Superman, where he travels back in time to help Superman fight a Brainiac from the future. Now, in the back, not a lot of extras, just this Batman Beyond. This is the trade paperback cover, I want to say, because they've only released the first 6 issues of here, and I don't think anything else has been collected. And here's the bio on all the creators back here, including Hilary J. Bader, who we lost in 2002. I think it was cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Craig Russo down here, Rick Burchett, and Rob Lee. And then this image right here, I think it's issue number 9 from the ongoing series. But those are the type of stories you're going to find in here. A companion piece to the animated show. Going into this, I feel like you're not going to get the character development, so you may not be a fan of this if you're just reading it. I feel like this complements the TV show, and together they work great. Because I really like the character of Terry. A lot of us did. And one of the things that made Terry work that Jean-Paul didn't, or anybody else that has ever tried to take the cowl of Batman, is that he is his own character. And you don't really get that through the first 6 issues. You start seeing it a little bit more through the ongoing series. He's a little bit of a smartass. He's not a detective like Bruce, right? And Bruce rides him on that, like, makes him realize, look, you're gonna need my help. You can't do this alone. But sometimes Terry likes to do his own thing. So he kind of reminds me a little bit of Jason Todd. But for some reason, it worked with Terry. Because there's something likable about him. And I love his supporting cast. Oh my gosh, I love Max. And I love Dana. And I even liked Melanie. Man, this guy's just surrounded by beautiful women. Lucky dude. And of course, a curmudgeon old man that's got lots of money. So yes, I stand by that statement. Lucky guy. 750 pages, $59.99. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this compendium, don't forget to check out our sponsors. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $200 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this book. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking this compendium up, if you're hoping they one day release an omnibus edition of the stories collected in here, and if you're hoping that there's a follow-up compendium that collects the Dan Jurgens era, plus throws in the Return of the Joker. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.